Welcome to Mics on the Mics. Here are the mics.
Coming in hot.
This is exciting. Happy to be here again.
Yep.
This is so much fun.
Yes. How you doing today, Mike?
You know what? I'm doing well. I'm excited about the topics we have today.
Yeah, I think we got some good ones.
Yeah, we got a good show.
Yeah.
We'll be covering a lot. We're talk a little sports gambling.
Yep.
We got our top 5 favorite baseball movies.
Yep.
And a little tribute to Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, I didn't even know it, but you Monday is Jackie Robinson Day, right?
Yep. So I mean, one of the best players. So I figured we might as well give him a shout out and give a little fun facts about Jackie.
100%. If you didn't notice, we are baseball freaks, so it's gonna be a lot of baseball stuff moving forward. But yes,
that it's summertime or springtime, summertime. It's baseball time.
that's right. How was your week?
It was good. I had the family down from up in the thumb.
Yep.
And it was my brother-in-law Nate's birthday. So happy birthday to him. And we went to
Happy birthday, Nate.
We went to the Tigers game on Sunday.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun. Not only just going to the Tigers game on opening weekend, but it was my mother-in-law's first time ever going to a baseball game.
Oh, no
at
kidding.
Comerica Park, and then it was my niece Lydia, who she's 6, her first time ever going to a baseball game.
Okay. Well, how was your mother-in-law? How did she like it?
She loved it. Yeah, she thought it was great. Yeah, she thought it was so cool to get there and see everything. She had a good time and really loved it.
Awesome. Glad to hear.
But there's something about seeing my niece walk. I mean, we walk in, right? It's kids' day, right? We walk in, we get her face painted right away. Mm-hmm. She's having a good time and go ride the carousel and stuff like that. And then we're walking around the concourse, and I was like, we got to take her to see the field because she can't really see it when she's walking around.
Yeah.
Pick her up and we walk over to the field, and her eyes just light up huge. Just like to actually see it in person. I mean, she watches the game on TV with us and has seen the game on TV, but to get there and actually see the field right there, her eyes just. But she loved it. She had a blast. We spoiled her. We got her all kinds. We got her the cotton candy and the almonds and gummy bears and the foam fingers and stuff. So we got her all hooked up, and she had a blast.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about. It's going to be something that she'll never forget. I mean, she'll remember that for the rest of her life.
Had her dancing in the seat, trying to get her onto the big screen.
Yeah.
We sat in good seats where we were in foul ball territory. No foul balls, but we did have one somewhat come close, so that was exciting. I'm like, oh, watch out, Liddy, here it comes.
Yeah.
But so that was a lot of fun. So it's always good to get down to the park. It was a beautiful day.
I was just going to say, you guys had perfect weather, too.
That new screen is flipping huge.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
It is so big.
Is it?
It's awesome. Yeah, they did it. They did a good job. They're doing a lot of cool things with Comerica.
I was going to ask you about that, too. Did you notice any of the improvements, obviously, other than the big screen, but they keep bragging about all these new updates.
So we didn't get a chance to do a full lap around, because we were really, catering to Lydia and making sure that she really enjoyed it and did all the kids stuff being, kids day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they seem like they got a couple new restaurants in there and some new bar areas.
Okay,
and
all right.
I like what they've been doing out in the outfield. They got I don't know if it's still called the Pepsi porch or not, but you know what I'm talking. They got the bar area up there that you can go up to and watch the game, and down on a concourse they got picnic tables and stuff in the outfield that you can sit and check out the game with little bars. So they're doing a really good job. The stadium definitely needed these updates.
Yeah. It's 25 years old.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Exactly. Well, it's nice to see them doing all this stuff, though. It was fun to get down there and.
Any way to distract you from the offense that they're putting out on a field, I guess, right?
Yeah, that was, it's been a tough couple of days, which I think you got an issue with some of these,
we will. I'm definitely going to get to that, and I'm can't wait to, but, yeah. So
How was your weekend?
The week so far has been good. Just a lot going on, wedding planning. We're getting our shower redone here. Megan is... I got to give her a quick shout out. She is almost done with her yoga teacher certification.
Go, Megan.
This is her last week of training, and then she has to teach, I think, 10 courses, kind of like a community type of setup where she's doing it for free. She's got to get 10 of those in. She's got to attend a few more classes or actual yoga sessions. She's got to do that a couple more times, and then she can start teaching and making money and see where it takes her.
How much yoga have you been doing since she?
Almost once a week. I'm one of those guys at first. I was like, oh, that's nothing I'm ever going to be interested in. And then I slowly start to do it. She would show me things, and then I start to man, I feel really good after I'm done.
Yeah.
And some of it's tough.
I should probably listen to, because my wife Amber, she does yoga a lot.
Does she?
Yeah, and she always says, "You want to do some yoga?" No, I'm good, but I have done it, and I do always feel better.
There's something to it. I really enjoy it.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations, Megan. We're all very proud of you. That's exciting.
Yep. Last Saturday I went to my first motocross riding session of the year. That was humbling.
Kicked your butt a little bit?
Yeah, I was really sore afterwards and just whooped. But it was nice to get out. It was weather was good. Went to a new track called Baja Acres.
Is that the one your buddy was building?
No, he's working on. Theirs is called LeBaron's out in Brown City, but that should be done in about a month. So, yeah, good week though.
I went golfing for the first time.
You did?
Yeah, my brother-in-law and I went out last Sunday. Yeah, that was Monday.
You shoot 9?
Yeah, just 9.
Yeah.
Started off a little rough. Mm-hmm. We kind of got a hang of it near the end, but first time out, so we're not.
Get like 2 to 4 beers in you, and then you start loosening up, and then you start to shoot a little better.
It felt good to get back out there.
That's awesome. Good. All right, well let's get into these topics. The first one.
Yeah, what do you got?
You're
pretty upset about this.
The Tigers, like, first of all, let's break it down for what it is. I mean, they're 7-4, right? The last few years, I mean, out of the first 30, 35 games, would they win 8 or 9? Okay, so they're 7-4. If you would have told me they were going to start the season 7-4, I'm like, okay, great. And then the offense was going to be a bit of a problem, but they're still 7-4. I'm like, okay, I can tolerate it. But I just, I'll listen to the radio and these people, and everybody just wants to bitch and complain about the offense. I get it. It's going to be a problem. I mean, I know it's going to be a problem, but I am confident that it is going to pick up. The pitching, very good. There's a couple of, maybe not so bright moments, but for the most part, I think the bullpen is set up very well. They have a good closer. They have a number of good starting pitchers. The offense has just been a struggle. They've come up with some big hits when needed, which has been...
It sucks that we're waiting so late into the games to get the offense
I know.
Going.
It's like they need to put pressure on themselves for them to wake up or something. I don't know if their approaches... Or if they just need to wake up. Like, a lot of these guys are young. You're seeing some flashes occasionally, but it just needs to be more consistent. And I think it will get there.
And we brought this up earlier in an episode where we talked about, our expectations, what could possibly be the downfall, and it's having the young team trying to get a hold of to get the bats going.
Right. Yep.
Pitching, like you said, is looking good, but getting the bats going. And it's early, and it's really hard to tell.
Well, I think people should just just relax a little bit.
We got to get through the first 40 games.
Yeah.
Then you can start bitching and complaining and really getting on them or whatever it is. Let's get through the first 40 games.
Yeah, right, 100%. And things are going to change. I know everybody was like, well, why didn't they sign JD Martinez? Why didn't they, sign this person or whatever, sign a third baseman? Well, Gio Urshela, who they signed in the offseason, is probably your best hitter right now. He's contributing pretty well. He's playing good defense. The younger guys, I do believe, will pick up. It's just the way it is right now. This is how baseball starts. The hitting always takes time to pick up, especially with these young guys. The one thing I do want to kind of go over real quick is the highlights and the lowlights. What I've been noticing from the season so far. I'm going to back it up with some stats. Obviously pitching and defense has been very good, and I think if you have those two aspects of the game figured out, you know what I mean, things are going to be good. They're 7th in ERA, okay? They're 6th in WHIP.
Okay, these are good.
They're 3rd in batting average against, okay? And they are 3rd in fielding percentage. So they're playing smart baseball.
Yeah.
Okay?
Defense and pitching sound good.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's funny is that they're actually 13th in stolen bases. Okay, so I know they're not getting on base a lot, but when they do, they are putting pressure on the other teams, which I think is important.
That small ball style.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, and then the hitting, sure, it's 23rd in average, 24th in on-base percentage. It's not very good. 27th in slugging. Yikes.
Yeah, and that's where we're struggling. That's what needs to change. But again, get through 40 games, and let's see if we're still in those numbers. Now we have real concerns.
Yes, and you know what? If those numbers pick up a little bit, those first 3 of the hitting, think about what this team is capable of. So everybody just chill, please.
From Mike D himself, chill.
Chill.
Just chill.
Yep, come on, give him a chance.
Yeah, we'll see what happens after this 40 game mark.
Yep.
Speaking of baseball, the news today, Ohtani. Yeah,
you just filled me in on this. This is crazy.
His interpreter, I don't know how you say his name right. Ippei Mizuhara, whatever. It's a longtime interpreter, indicted on federal charges today for the gambling. I think, remember when it first came out, they were talking about like $4.5 million that he had possibly stolen from Ohtani. All right, comes out today, $16 million.
Oh my God.
There's all these conspiracies going on. This is a huge cover up for baseball because Ohtani's the golden boy right now, right? He's the best player in baseball.
He plays for the Dodgers,
and he's playing for the Dodgers. I don't think that you can get. You really don't want to put MLB in a bad position, right? From the commissioner aspect.
Next to the Yankees, the Dodgers are next as far as being the biggest franchise, right? And if not, maybe the Red Sox, but
exactly
the Dodgers are. I mean, they're going to protect that asset. So we don't know. They're not. So all the facts aren't coming
apparently
out.
This interpreter went into Ohtani's bank account and started making illegal transfers to pay off his bookie. And it started out at like $40,000, and Ohtani didn't know that he was getting into. The interpreter helped him set up his bank accounts and stuff when he started getting his game checks.
Yeah.
Somehow got into it. Ohtani says he had no idea about this.
Yeah.
Federal charges came down. The federal prosecutors today said, they're not looking at Ohtani at all, that this is just this is something that his interpreter did on his own doing.
Okay.
The big thing, the conspiracies, and this one, and I'm not saying Ohtani did anything or that these bets are even on baseball.
Yeah, this is all allegedly, right?
Yeah. But I read this somewhere, and he obviously did this through an illegal bookie, right? BetMGM's not letting anybody place, $100,000 type of bets and stuff like that. But to go through a bookie and then want to bet millions of dollars on all these games, the bookie's got to know that you have the money to back it up. And this interpreter, he's not a big name. Nobody knew his name until all this happened.
Right.
So the conspiracy is that, he was doing it on behalf of Ohtani, or he knew that Ohtani was somehow a part of it. Now, again, we don't know. Right now they're saying Ohtani's not. But again, how's a bookie going to let some guy, you and I can't go out and just call up some bookie and be like, yeah, we want $500,000 on tonight's game. And they're like, who the hell are you?
Do you know how long this interpreter's been attached to Ohtani?
It's been a long time.
So ever since he's been with the Angels as a rookie or whatever? Yeah. Okay, all right.
I think if I remember correctly, they weren't like childhood friends or anything like that, because I think the interpreter is older than Ohtani.
Okay.
But they've been together for a really, really long time.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I get. The question would be interested to find out, like, okay, if they're not close, who hired the interpreter? Because obviously Ohtani didn't.
Right.
So I don't know. It doesn't. Ohtani doesn't seem, but we don't speak the language, so it's hard to. Ohtani doesn't seem like the type of guy that's doing this, but you never know sometimes.
No, you don't. Within the last year, and we'll get into some of these. All these people out of nowhere are getting accused, whether you're a coach, a referee, an umpire, a player, right, an interpreter.
Yeah.
People are getting investigated for all these gambling. So that kind of begs the question that I want to get into is gambling good or bad for the sport? Mm-hmm. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But since, 2018, something like that, when it finally became legal across multiple states, I think there's only 12 states that don't have sports gambling legal in their state.
Yeah.
So it's huge. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. But
yeah, it brings in a lot of money.
The other scandal that's going on is the Jonte Porter, the player from the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
He, apparently went out. People were making trying to make $100,000 bets on his under for his points, and then he goes into these games, right? And he comes out right away with an illness or some type of soreness, and kind of triggered the NBA to start this investigation. And Adam Silver came out today or yesterday and said, they're investigating it, and if they find out that there was any wrongdoing here, they're going to ban him from the NBA for life.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If that happens, let's say that happens and he is banned for life, that might change people's, especially the athletes. They may not even bother with that anymore. I'm like, oh my God, I can have the possibility of getting banned from life. That's not worth it anymore.
Look at Pete Rose.
Yeah, right.
He's been banned. There's no way they're letting him back in.
You're right.
And you can say what you want. These guys aren't betting on their own teams, or but that Jontay Porter thing, he was throwing games.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's not even a huge name player. He comes off the bench. He's not even a starter.
Well, that's probably why they were able to capture him in that sense. You know what I mean? Like he was able to make
It struck it because all of a sudden these bettings were coming through and like, whoa, why do we have so many people betting on this guy to go under? And we're not talking just everybody bet. We're talking people are betting, and people are trying to put a ton of money, 6 figures down. So
there's a whole scheme or like a whole operation going on with this. It sounds like.
You always like my first question with the Ohtani or this Porter guy, like, why do these? If they are betting, what are you betting for? You guys already make a ton of money. But you know what? There's something there about the thrill, right? I mean, you and I betting $25, $50, $100 on a game. That's exciting to us. Maybe them putting $500,000 on a game is the equivalent. Obviously not dollar amount, but the same equivalent thrill that they want to see, because that's what betting's exciting. It's a thrill, right?
Yeah. Well, some famous person said back in the day, "More money, more problems." When you make more money, you got more problems to solve, and then they try and solve it by gambling their way out of it, or whatever. But I mean, you asked a question: is it good or bad?
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Is this good or bad? And do you gamble? Do you dabble in the sports betting?
I mean, I do not. I mean, I might make some friendly bets here and there occasionally. I stay out of it just because, I guess I'm scared for myself to get too attached to it. Like I know when I play fantasy football, I'm very invested into it.
Yeah.
So I get worried that I will do the same thing. So I stay out of it. Plus, I think it's bad personally. I think it changes. If you're really invested in it, which I think a lot of people are getting because it's so accessible on these phones now, that I think it changes your perspective of watching the game. It's not for entertainment anymore. Now it's, it's your money. It's your financial
you're watching the sport for the wrong reason.
Exactly. But I mean, if you're able to control yourself and bet a couple bucks here and there, and at the end of the year, every year, you break out even, at least, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just don't think human society, and I'm not going to get too philosophical or anything right now, but I don't think we are capable as a society to control ourselves with this thing. You know what I mean? It's
like drugs or alcohol or gambling, right? It can become an addiction. That's the other thing. Right, is a lot of these people are getting addicted to gambling. I mean, you see the gambling addiction hotline on every commercial. It's all over the apps, right? They're always talking about like this.
And the gambling, or MGM and DraftKings and all that. They're affiliated with everything now. Everything.
We're at the Tigers game. They got the odds on the board.
Yeah.
Of what the players are doing. We were watching Bally Sports. They're talking, Kerry Carpenter to hit, 2 hits plus, 130 or whatever it is. Like it's everywhere. It's not. I mean, ESPN and even Bally Sports, they have shows just dedicated to the upcoming weekend of games of what to bet on,
or segments on the radio.
On the ticker on the bottom of Sports Center.
The spreads are always there. The money line.
Scores from last night. Here's tonight's. Oh, and here's the over unders, or here's the money line, and So it's everywhere.
Yeah.
My opinion is, I go back and forth. I don't gamble very often. I do dabble a little bit. I like betting on football games. I do like the player props and do things like that. It can get exciting to watch the game. I don't bet big. I'm talking $20, $25.
Yeah.
Spread that out over a couple different bets.
Right.
I've never been into it. I don't like losing my money.
Right.
I don't seem to have a problem doing it, right? I mean, I just do it for fun every once in a while, and it's not even every weekend. It's just, but I do enjoy it. So I think it's fun. I think you can have fun, especially if you're out with a couple of friends and everyone places different bets. You can kind of watch the game, hoot and holler at the TV for what you want. But I think more bad comes with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, right? I mean, sports gambling has been around forever.
Yeah.
All the way back to Shoeless Joe Jackson, right? I mean, they were throwing games back then.
Yep.
So it's been around for a while. It can bring in a lot of revenue for these teams, which they need more money to come in. But and it can bring in new fans, right? I think you do get some people that can come in and find a new sport that they like to watch. So I think those are some good things. I've enjoyed watching other like football teams. Right? I can watch other games when you make a bet, right?
Yep.
I mean, still not watching it rooting for anybody. I'm rooting for certain players.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But, you're getting exposed to other teams. So I think there's good. But then the bad, I think, completely outweighs the good.
I think you're seeing... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, I think what you're seeing with the bad is this whole situation with Ohtani, because I think where the truth lies is somewhere kind of in the middle. Like, one side would be Ohtani's completely involved. This is all him. And then the opposite side of it was he was not involved. It's all the interpreter. I think the truth lies probably somewhere in the middle.
Right. Maybe this interpreter, he's the fall guy.
Right. They got to protect their $1 billion investment.
Ohtani to all of a sudden, we don't want to ban him from the league.
Yeah, right.
So, you know what? This guy was he could face up to like 30 years in prison.
Wow.
For this.
Yeah.
And that's just like, ugh.
And you know what? He probably will, because it's money. And evading taxes and this and that,
and we're talking
pushing,
$16 million.
Yeah,
I mean that's a lot.
Yeah.
But when we get to talking about how is it bad? I mean, is the integrity of the game being jeopardized? And by that I mean that's with these players, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From the fans aspect, no, right?
Right.
You just have to be able to control yourself and not get caught up in it. But it's so easy. I mean, you just see so many people have a problem with gambling and their addiction. But the integrity of the game with these players. The other thing is you hear and it's a lot of college, like when you're a pro, you're getting paid millions. You're supposed to drown out the fans. There you go. But these college, there was an article I was reading. These college kids are sitting on the bench and they got fans screaming in their ear, you better get 20 points tonight right, on basketball. Or, you better not give up this. You better get this. Or don't throw an interception. Like, they're getting yelled at by...
completely taking the human element out of it. It's just they're not peopling.
I'm not there to root for my team. I'm there to make sure that, cuz, you better score 20 points tonight or you're going to lose me a lot of money.
Or you keep the over-under at 3 or whatever, you know what I mean? And under...
Actually, I don't want you to score
the spread
at all
under 3.
Because you're going to make me lose a lot of money. So that's where it gets bad. It's like, it's not even the love of the game anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not even a fan of whoever I bet on. He just better do what he did, or whatever Vegas has said. And Vegas is so good at setting these over unders.
I use them. I use Vegas a lot. Like if I'm whatever I'm doing, whether it's playing fantasy football. I even use the spreads. Do you know what I mean? Just because you're exactly right. They are so good. They're so good.
I had this one bet last year on a player, and it's just like it was a backup running back, and it was like over under like 14.5 yards. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's part of my parlay. I was like, oh, okay, he'll get 15 yards, right? The backup running backs, right? Mm-hmm. He's always in. He gets a good handful amount of snaps. 13 yards. And I bet the over, right? And I'm like, how do they know? How did 15? How was 15 set? And then he comes in at 13. Like, just crazy how Vegas.
It's almost like the Moneyball situation where those guys are so just invested in numbers and are able to kind of replicate. Like humans are like a. Like they repeat themselves. What's that called? Like a creature of habit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they can predict the future almost. And I'm sure they got new AI tools out there now that
they got all kinds of specialists and AI tools that are helping them figure all this out. It's just
there's a lot of data out there. It's absolutely insane. And
But I'm not bashing sports gambling completely because I do have fun with it. I know a lot of people that do it and that don't have a problem with it, right?
Yeah, right. I think it's fun. You make bets with your buddies. You do stuff like that. You want to go to a sports book and you're kind of watching some games and you're like, all right, I want to put a few bucks here and there. I don't see anything wrong with that, but it's just the fact now. I think the problem is it's just too accessible. It's so accessible now. It's so easy to make the bets, and
I think we're getting to a point where the leagues. I think they're really trying to stop any type of minimize any type of wrongdoing that's happening in their sports, right?
Yep.
Like for football, you're allowed to bet. You just can't bet on your own sport, and you can't do it within the facilities of the of your team, right? I mean, we saw Jameson Williams got suspended because he was playing a fucking slot game.
Yeah.
inside the training facility.
Yeah.
Right?
He probably didn't even know the rules. I mean, which is, he should, but I mean, still.
So I think the biggest part of what I'm getting at with the sports gambling is I think it's how much can we trust that the game is still.
The integrity's there.
Yeah, and it's not rigged. Like, can you watch a game and honestly know that it's 100% true and not rigged in any way? And I don't think this is happening all over, but I think it is something we need to talk about because these allegations are popping up all over the place and these scandals are happening.
Right, and the ones that are on the surface, I mean, think about everything that's below the surface. There's way more going on than we're seeing. And even like it's like even any big game now, you're always questioning when a weird call goes a certain way or a player does this or whatever. I mean, it could be a mistake or sure, in the back of your mind, it could be. Even the Super Bowl was really questioned.
Right. And you hear people, it's always a joke now, too, right? Like, oh, they threw a flag. Oh, that's because they knew I needed my over.
We've normalized it.
Yeah.
In a sense.
It's just become kind of like a joke when you see a bad call happen.
Is it turning into wrestling?
You're right. It's all scripted, right?
Yeah.
Well, it makes you wonder, like, the NFL commercials that they came out making fun of the having a script. It's like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, hey, you guys might want to check yourself.
You guys kind of like, just putting it out there and open for us all just to kind of look past it. You know? So it makes you wonder. But I mean, like some of these other allegations that I wanted to like, we're from every level and every sport. Alabama baseball got busted last year.
Really? Wow,
Coach,
I did not hear this.
The coach was dealing with some guy, and this guy, it was so stupid. It just, long story short, the guy, they actually caught, not the coach, but the guy he was texting with, on camera at the betting window, talking to the coach, and he was betting like $100,000 on, I think it was Bama to lose, and Bama's ace pitcher, the coach told him, like, he's not feeling well, I'm pulling him tonight. He's not going to, So the Alabama's coach got like a 15-year suspension from the game.
How was this not like front page? Like that's huge.
Right.
This is the first time I've heard of this. This is massive.
I was just going on and looking at different betting scandals, right? I mean, and you can even go back as far, like I said, Shoeless Joe Jackson, the White Sox, you got Henry Hill.
Yeah.
You got
the Donahue guy.
The Donahue guy from the NBA ref.
The Goodfellas situation with the college.
Armando Galarraga.
That's
just kidding.
Jim Joyce.
I was just throwing it out there.
Jim Joyce.
He was out by a mile.
Yeah.
He was out by a mile.
Come clean.
But the Iowa wrestling got in trouble. Now they weren't betting on like themselves or anything, but they got caught gambling. Right? And you're not allowed to.
Were they gambling on wrestling?
No, they were just gambling in the facilities. Or
okay.
The NHL player, Shane Pinto, he wasn't betting on hockey, but he was gambling on other sports.
Okay, in the facility.
Got suspended.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you have all these different scandals that could possibly be happening. And it's like, well, what can you do? Can you bet? Can you not bet? Obviously, don't bet on your sport, but maybe players just shouldn't be able to bet at all.
I think that should be it because from what I'm seeing, it's just that they can't control themselves because they probably get hooked. You know what I mean? They probably it's exciting and it's hook. You know what I mean? Those guys are such extreme athletes and they're so busy and stuff like that. They probably need a little distraction every now and then.
Right.
So they use gambling, and I get it. You know what I mean? But maybe it just needs to be completely banned from. If you get caught once, maybe it's a severe ban, and then if you're caught again, you're done, like forever. Yeah. And it needs to be strict. They're going to have to figure out the rules and regulations now that all this is legal. They're going to have to figure out something because it's not going away, like you said. No. It's not going away. It brings in a lot of money.
Exactly.
Anytime you bring in a lot of money, you ain't going nowhere.
So some of the most fun bets to place are the player props, right? Mm-hmm. I want this player to score this many points. I want this player to have this many yards. I want this guy to hit this many home runs. This guy to have so many strikeouts.
The in-game betting is crazy too. I just realized that was a thing too.
You could just bet live on. You could bet.
That's crazy.
By inning on baseball if you want to. But like the college NC2A president Charlie Baker, he called for a ban on the player props because, he was talking about because players are being harassed for doing or not doing whatever their Vegas bet was.
Yep.
And the fact that people could throw a game.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder, should we get rid of the player props?
Yep.
I know a lot of people wouldn't like that. And that's, like I said, that's what I like to bet on for football when I do bet are the player props. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think the more and more we get these scandals and these, allegations come out on different players, if it continues to happen, it might be something to think about. And at least for the college kids, I mean, you're a pro athlete, you got to deal with asshole fans all the time. But if I'm sitting on the bench as a college player and I got some 55-year-old dude screaming behind me to score my points or whatever it is, like, that's also not fair to those athletes.
No, it's not. It's not. It's interesting you bring that up because I think we're going to get to a point at this is going to be way down in the future where you're not going to have stadiums anymore. You're just going to have, because for one, I think you're going to price people out of the sport. And the reason, well, all right, let me back up a little bit. I do want to bring up this Ohtani contract because I think that's going to be the balloon that pops it. I think we're going to look 20, 30 years in the future and look back on that, or 20, 30 years from now, we're going to look back on this and be like, that was the deal that screwed us, because who knows what's going on with this indictment? Who knows what's going to be uncovered? Right. That could, a $700 million thing like that, investment like that, could completely ruin a franchise. And with contracts that are becoming more the norm like that, it's just going to price the normal person out of it. So they're not going to be able to go to these games anymore. They're not going to be able to afford it. People are just going to stop going and just going to watch from home. So I think at some point, you're not going to have these big stadiums anymore. You're just literally going to have the teams that are playing. They're going to pipe in noise. They're going to be playing in like a small little facility.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then it's going to be screens all over. You know what I mean? And then you're going to have players are going to be mic'd up. They're going to have more of an in-game experience, but it's going to be all from home, from your sound system or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting way to see where this could go.
But is that a good thing? I don't think that's a good thing.
No, I don't think that's a good thing. I mean,
because part of the allure of sports is having your home field advantage and having all that. But I think
going out to the game with your friends and family,
right? But it's like to go to the baseball game, just the baseball game, which used to be cheap back in the day, is not anymore.
No,
$50 to park, $15 a beer. $10 for a hot dog, $7 for a water. I mean, it's not feasible anymore, and just the way that the money's going with the gambling being pumped into it now too, it's just going to keep raising the price of everything.
You bring up another good point, because I was reading something and they were talking about March Madness, right? March Madness is usually one of the biggest, draws to Vegas that they get, right? People love betting on that. I mean, you have so many games, like, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just bet on whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was reading this article that it was, I don't remember what they said the percent, but they were down so many percentage of like the amount of people that were in Vegas, because you and I don't have to go on our trip to Vegas anymore. We can sit on our couch and make all of our bets.
It's a good point. Yeah.
So, they lost a lot of these people because you don't have to go, which.
Yeah. Right. People are just doing everything from home, like at home now.
You don't have to be there to make these bets, right? You don't have to get up and go down to wherever you need to go.
Stay at home, make your bets from your phone, watch the game from your TV. Or your phone. You can even watch it from your phone now, or your iPad, and you got your bathroom and this and that, and it's just. But yeah, I don't like the direction of everything. It's just there's too much money being piped in from so many different directions, and it's going to completely dilute and ruin the sport. Maybe dilute's not the right word, but it's going to just. I can't think of a better word.
Yeah, I got
you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
but yeah,
So I wanted to ask this. If we're talking this game, I'll try to have a little bit of fun with this. What out of the four major sports that we have, which one do you think would be the easiest to throw a game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest scandals that you've had have all involved basketball. So I'm going to go with basketball because I think it's just not as noticeable if a player's throwing a game, he's missing shots. That's not super noticeable.
You can still look like you're trying.
Yeah.
But throw the game.
Right.
Yeah,
and there's multiple ways to throw a game. It doesn't just have to be total points scored. It can be how many points you're scoring. And
right. You could easily miss a shot on purpose.
Yeah.
You could pass the ball instead of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You could play weak defense.
Right.
I agree. I think basketball would be the easiest way to. All the other sports, you might have certain positions that could do it.
Yep.
But not as a team. I mean,
for sure.
Baseball, I can't just hit more home runs if I wanted to.
Right. Yeah, I get if it'd be like a pitcher, like we discussed before the show. Yeah, and all he's got to do is literally throw one. Like, okay, he walked the first two batters and maybe he didn't mean to do that, and then he's like, okay, I just got to throw one meatball, and then bam, there's 3 runs right there, and so hockey, I don't see it happening in hockey. Hockey just seems like it's too fast paced, too physical.
I mean, maybe you could make an argument the goalie could let some, but still, it's too fast paced to like know when the shot's coming.
If you try and alter your game, I think in hockey you're just gonna get lit up.
And football, that's a tough one too. I mean, again, individual positions, receiver could drop a ball on purpose, fumble on purpose, kicker could miss a kick, quarterback throw an interception, on purpose, right? So, but.
Quarterback would be tough. It would have to be somebody like on a rookie deal, because once those guys, if you're good, you know what I mean. You're getting major money, and usually, I don't know. I guess you can't really rule it out.
Yeah.
If anything, coaches, but who knows? You really don't know.
It's hard to judge what it would be, but basketball would definitely be the easiest one. But I think all in all, I like the gambling. Mm-hmm. I'm for it. I think the leagues are doing their best to minimize the problems. I think the big scandals can overshadow a lot of the good that comes from it, that people can have fun. I do enjoy dabbling in it a little bit. Yeah. And it's not going anywhere. I don't really care how many I don't care if Ohtani got kicked out. They're not going to stop it.
No.
Gambling is not going anywhere. And, I'll continue to do my little minor sports betting. But, I think all in all, it's good. We just have to kind of lock it down.
Well, I think it's like anything introduced new into like such a major operation like sports, like the NIL with college athletics. Right. Like it's in its infant stages. It's going to have to be tweaked and regulated and fit, you know what I mean, and worked upon. And sports gambling is another one of those. It's very early on. They're going to have to make some changes, but it's just I'm glad I'm not the person that has to do that.
Yeah, seriously.
So, anyways.
All right, well let's move on, because Monday is a huge day for baseball.
Yep.
It's Jackie Robinson Day.
Yep.
I thought we'd honor him a little bit. I mean, we all know Jackie Robinson, right? First black player to play in the major league. Yep. Broke a lot of barriers, right? Did some amazing things. Always been one of my favorite players.
Yep.
So I thought we'd go through. I got some facts that I was looking about Jackie Robinson that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I got these here. They're in no type of order, but I thought we could go through. I thought quickly I'd give like some of his big stats. He played his whole time with the Brooklyn Dodgers, right? Just some of the baseballs that he had 141 home runs in his career. And the thing about, he was not, and even back in that time, they weren't power hitters. Yeah. You had your few, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Still 141 is nothing to be.
No.
You know what I mean? But
he batted .311 for his career.
Awesome.
Huge.
Yeah.
Right? And he had 761 RBIs.
Yep.
Solid season. He won Rookie of the Year. His first year out.
What was his first year playing with?
1947.
Because he was stuck in the minors for a while, right? I mean, obviously he played in the Negro Leagues, start off, and it took him a while to kind of get in, and then he was stuck in the minors for a while just because of the racial issues going on and the barriers they had to break and stuff like that. But, I mean, give him credit for just not, refusing to give up and just, you know what I mean? Just, and if obviously seen the movie.
He was an amazing player. So some of the fun facts, and I did not know this, is in 1941, he played semi-pro football.
Did he really?
And he played his last game. It says notably played his last game with a team at Pearl Harbor on December 5th. 2 days before the attack.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'd like to know how many people knew that.
I went down. I was like looking for some fun, you're
gonna blow some people's minds. I think.
I just wanted to find some things out about Jackie Robinson that I didn't know, and I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson, he won the World Series with the Dodgers in 1955. I think everybody kind of, a lot of things people know about this, right?
Yep.
He was inducted on. He was first year ballot to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Okay. I thought this was kind of cool and sweet. He did die of a heart attack October 24th, 1972, and his last words spoken was to his wife Rachel, "I love you."
Wow.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is a huge stat. He only struck out 291 times at 4,877
I was just looking at that is
at-bats.
Absolutely phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah. Kind of goes with why he was a 6-time All-Star. Played mostly infield. Second base was his go-to spot that he played most of his career.
Some people could strike out that much in, probably 2 years?
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, 2 years roughly.
Like what? God, Aaron Judge was like 120, 130, something like that. I don't know for sure, but he was up there. I mean, these guys are striking out 100 plus times a year. I mean, Javi Baez probably already has 291 times this year.
Yeah.
I thought this was a cool one. He lettered in. He went to UCLA.
Okay. Wow.
If anybody didn't know that, he lettered in 4 sports: baseball, basketball, football, and track and field.
Jeez.
He was the first athlete to ever do that at UCLA.
Yeah.
And then I saw this. There was a quote. He said his worst sport was baseball.
No kidding.
And then he goes on and does all these amazing things.
Right. Hall of Fame baseball player.
Yeah, with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Jeez. He was like a Bo Jackson back in the day.
Yes. Yeah.
If not better.
And then in April 1997, we all know this, but Selig came out and retired his jersey number 42 from the entire place of baseball.
Now, on Monday, will they all wear 42?
And everybody, every April 15th, every team, every player will wear number 42.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Do you know how he got the number 42?
I don't remember. I'm trying to remember the movie. I do not remember.
There is no story behind it. That is just the number they assigned to him.
Really?
Yeah, there is nothing special about it. When he was in his minor league days, like with the or in the Negro League with like the Monarchs and stuff, he wore number 10. I don't know if that was any significance. I didn't find anything on that, but I wanted to know like why 40, because you get a lot of players that wear a certain number for a certain reason.
Yeah.
And nope, that is what he was assigned. His number assigned, and now look at it.
Wow.
One of the most iconic numbers through all of baseball.
If not the, yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Now this is my favorite stat on him is, let's see, where did it go? Anyways, I don't have it, but he stole home 19 times in his career.
Wow.
And one of the most notable ones was the game 1 of the World Series.
Okay, the year that they won it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable that 19 stolen
19 times. How many times do you think that happens in a year now?
God,
I
mean, you know how hard it is to steal home, but to do it 19 times. I mean, I think it probably happens once a year. You might get a guy that's able to pull that off.
He was doing it a few times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And could you imagine just being at the World Series and you just
watching that,
stealing home?
Yeah. You see him leading off, and you're like, is he gonna go? Is he gonna go? And then he goes, like, oh my god, everybody's on their feet cheering.
Yeah.
Safe. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And he finished 19 steals at home plate, and he actually tied. That's actually not the all time. He's tied for 9th all time for stealing home.
Who leads?
You know what? I don't know.
I was gonna guess Ricky Henderson, but it's probably somebody even back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
19 times stealing home, and you're only in 9th
place.
Place for stealing home.
That's crazy.
Like I didn't realize that was. I thought that would have been the number 1.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's pretty remarkable.
But yeah, so little tribute to Jackie Robinson.
Yeah,
he did a lot of great things for baseball. Always been one of my favorite players.
For sure.
Excited to see all the players wearing number 42 on Monday.
Yeah.
And any of the teams that don't play Monday, they'll wear the next day.
Okay. I didn't know
so
that.
Every team will wear it. So even if because a lot of teams get Monday off, they'll wear it or the Sunday before, whatever it is. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Hats off to Jackie Robinson.
Yep.
All right. I think we got one more thing of baseball again.
Yes. Another baseball topic. Let's get into our top 5 baseball movies. I mean, there's a million good. Yeah, there's a million good baseball movies, and this was a hard list to come up for me to dig up.
I had a lot written down and kind of had to go through. So
yeah, do you want to do our lists first, or do you want to do our honorable mentions first?
Well, let's go through our list because I think some of our honorable mentions are on each other's list.
Good call.
So,
all right. So go ahead. Why don't you start us off?
Okay. All right. So, and I'll go. I definitely have a number 1. Okay.
Okay.
My 2 through 5 is not
you could probably place them anywhere
in any certain order that it's there, but I do have a definite number 1. But I'll start at the bottom. So number 5.
Yep.
Rookie of the Year.
Good one.
Love that movie. Very nostalgic. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid. Could you imagine? I remember watching that as a kid, thinking like, "Oh man, I could break my arm and I could go play for the Tigers."
Right. And then re-break it, and then have to go throw an underhand
and then
pitch.
I got to go back to school the next day, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's cool.
Number 4, I have the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson story.
Yep, that's an important one.
Great movie.
Yep.
Number 3, Field of Dreams.
Yep.
Phenomenal movie.
Yep.
That scene at the end when he plays catch with his dad, I don't know if I could ever watch that and not cry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
My number 2 is The Rookie with Dennis Quaid.
Oh, yeah,
the Tampa
Bay,
Rays pitcher.
Yeah.
Made it when he was 40 years old.
I don't know if I've
movie.
seen that one.
Yeah, he's a high school coach.
Yeah.
And the kids, want to see him pitch, and guy's he's 40 years old, and he's still throwing 90, and they make this bet with him, if they win the championship or something, he has to go try out for the team. End up playing 2 years with the Rays.
Wow, this is a true story?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I forget his actual name. It's not.
I've seen the previews or whatever a million times. I just never watched it. I'll have to check that one. Okay, I'll check that one out.
And then my number 1 movie, The Sandlot.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Just reminds me of being a kid again. I mean, we all did that. Go play Sandlot games with our friends.
Yeah.
Right. That's my. Not only is it my favorite baseball movie, I would put it as my favorite movie
of all time. Okay. Yeah. No, I can't argue with you there. Why don't you give us your some of your honorable mentions?
Okay.
I'm curious to hear what else.
So I got some funny. I got some. So sort of like Angels in the Outfield. Great movie. Not gonna make the top 5.
Tony Danza, is that right? Is that who was in it?
Is that? Yeah, I think so.
Is it Tony Danza?
And the guy that was in Lethal Weapon.
Oh,
Danny Glover.
Yeah. And Christopher Lloyd, right? Isn't he the?
He's the angel.
He's the angel. Yeah. That one was on that long ago, and it's literally. I
don't know if it still holds up. I just remember, being a kid, really loving that movie.
Yeah.
Bull Durham.
Yep. That's a great one.
I got Trouble with a Curve.
Oh,
it's a Clint Eastwood one.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That one's good. Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yep, that's a good one.
The Natural. With
I've heard of that one.
Is it Robert
Redford?
Robert Redford, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it's an older one.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe 60s, 70s, something like that. That was a good one. And Moneyball.
Yeah, Moneyball's great.
Yeah, good movie.
Moneyball's great.
So let's hear your list. What do you got?
All right. Number 5, I actually have Bull Durham.
Okay.
Bull Durham is one of those raw type of,
yeah.
It's just funny dialogue, you know what I mean? You kind of get a taste of how things are in the minors, and it's silly, and there's some, the human relationship in that one's really funny, and some of the quotes in that one are great. When he, the scene where he's waving him off, and he's like, no, just give him the heater or whatever, and then he says, no, I'm gonna give him the deuce, and then he tells the hitter what he's gonna do. He's like, man, that one got out of here in a hurry. That's the best scene. He's like, you told me I was going to throw the deuce, right?
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. But all right, anyways, number 4, Moneyball. I think that movie really got me thinking about the stats. You know what I mean? How they kind of broke it down. I thought that was really cool.
I mean, that's when they really started getting into the sabermetrics of everything, and not just looking at how a player is on the field, but everything that goes behind it.
Exactly. They were trying, when they were talking about hitting, on base percentage, and this and that, and so that was cool. Number 3, Sandlot. I mean, my goodness.
Wendy Peppercorn.
Yeah. I mean, God, goodness, that one's a classic. Baby Ruth. We all grew up with that one. That was a great one.
Yeah.
Number 2, A League of Their Own.
That is a great. There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah. Oh my God, Tom Hanks, Madonna, Gina Davis.
There's a lot of big names in that movie.
Yeah. Great movie. The Scout. I can't think of his name. He was hilarious in that movie. I can't repeat a lot of the things he said.
Yeah. That is a really good movie, though.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. And number 1, Major League.
So funny.
I can watch that movie over and over and over again.
Even the second one is really good.
Yeah, the second one's pretty good.
Yeah.
That could be an honorable mention too.
Yeah.
But the first one is just it's got every element. It's funny, baseball. You know what's funny about that movie, and I think you probably know this, Charlie Sheen was actually a minor league baseball player.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was actually a minor league. I think he played maybe high A or low A baseball.
Okay.
But that was all him. I mean, you could actually tell, like, okay, this guy actually looks like he could.
Right.
He was like the way he was winding up and throwing, and I think
that movie is really funny.
It's a classic.
I remember you and I were at the Cleveland. We were down in Cleveland for one of our baseball trips, and we were heading to our seats or whatever. And you saw this guy with a Vaughn jersey on, and I remember you're like,
I had mine on.
Yeah, you're like, hold on, and like ran over to him. You're like, I got mine.
Like, I had my my Rick Vaughn jersey on.
Hold on, I gotta go say hi to this guy.
Oh, I was so happy. Yeah, that one's that's my favorite. And as far as honorable mentions, 42. That's a great one. You know, that one was hard to keep out of my top five.
Major League was hard to keep out of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, there's so many good ones.
There is so many good ones. And a lot of them really are just kind of what I remember. I mean, a lot of these movies I haven't seen in forever. Like Field of Dreams, I haven't mentioned. I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah.
So that one's hard. And Rookie of the Year was another one I haven't seen since I was probably a kid, but I remember that one. Another one, too, Little Big League. Yeah. Where he becomes the coach.
Yeah.
I that one always sticks out to me because Mickey Tettleton's in it very briefly, but he's in that one.
That's right. He is. That's right.
Yeah. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. Yeah. And he throws him the baseball or something. And but man, there's so many good ones.
There are so many good ones. Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. That was
yeah, that's a good topic.
Now I want to go home and watch all these movies.
Yep, we're just gonna have a marathon for that. And you know what? To all the listeners out there, please share. Go on our Facebook page and share your top five.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to get.
Yeah.
Because I think we could have some different lists because of all the good baseball movies. And I think
everyone's gonna have a different list, but I think a lot of the movies, they will all have similar.
Yeah, we have good taste.
Top five, right?
Yeah,
at least
for sure.
I think it would be hard for anybody, and you know, prove me wrong if I think it would be hard for anyone to not have The Sandlot in their top five. Doesn't have to be your number one. Yeah, but it's definitely in.
It's got to be in there. Any kid. You watch, that's one of the first movies you watch. You know what I mean? Yeah. You sit down and watch and you fall in love with all the characters.
It's so relatable from, like I said, when we were kids, always going out and playing ball. So.
Definitely. Great movie.
That was fun. We'll continue to do these lists. I like doing this. I think this is fun.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good list to do.
But I think that with our top five baseball movies, I think that's going to wrap up this week's show.
I think that's it. Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Like I said, please share your top five baseball movies and anything else you want to give us some feedback on. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll give us some ideas for some content too.
Perfect. Yeah. You got any type of list or greatest of whatever to go over? Yeah. Drop it in the comments. So we'll be happy to talk about that stuff.
Absolutely.
So thanks for listening. We look forward to talking to everybody next week. Don't forget to stop on I-94 and see our great new Detroit sign.
Oh, boy. If it's still going to be there.
If a letter isn't stolen yet. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
Tigers.
you, everybody. Eat 'em up, Tigers.